Methinks we've got a character with us today. We happened upon Leon Goode, who served in the United States military for 16 years, went to Watson High School, went to the Job Corps, grew up in Covington, and we're lucky that he decided to move back about 4 years ago. Welcome, Leon.
Welcome.
Tell us a little bit about how you decided to go into the military.
Well, I was drafted out of the Job Corps. So they sent me to Fort Gordon, Georgia. I didn't come back to Virginia. They sent me from Texas. That's where I was stationed in the Job Corps. And from there I went to Fort Gordon, Georgia.
I bet you that was an eye-opener.
It was an eye-opener.
Did you ever end up doing kitchen patrol like my friend Brian Anderson?
Oh, I did kitchen patrol. Oh, you do PTSD. You do kitchen patrol. You do washing dishes. You peel potatoes. You go out there and pick up cigarette butts and all this stuff.
Oh, I didn't know it was that extensive. So what did you learn at Fort Gordon?
I was learning to seek and destroy. I was quickly teaching us how to survive, how to defend ourselves in combat, how to shoot.
Now, was this, you entered the military in 1966.
Right.
You don't look your age. So this was 1966 to 1970 was your active service.
Active service.
So was this the period when you were initially at Fort Gordon?
Yes.
Okay. And what is learning to seek and destroy? Is that basic weaponry training, or what all is it?
It's you train you learn how to use your hand-to-hand combat, and you learn how to use your weapon. You learn how to disarm mines if you step on a mine or something. You learn how to disarm and keep from blowing up. You learn how to disarm it,
Wow. And so at Fort Gordon, do you learn how to, you say like you learn how to shoot an M16?
M1.
Oh, an M1. Okay. And is there any artillery training?
Oh, yes, you got to go through bases, where they shoot. You crawling at night, They call that, course where you go at nighttime and you're going through barbed wire.
And as I've heard, at some point in your training, is there live fire at 3 feet above you?
That's live fire. Oh, you can't get up. You can't raise your head. You can't get up. They tell us that before we go through this. You got to stay low. And you crawling, bullets, you can see the tracers going over top of your head. And then you have big bunkers with mud, packed, and they have it to blow up, boom, so you understand what's going on as training, you're going to have this in real life,
And so after the period of training, you were shipped out to Vietnam?
No, I was shipped out. My training started, and when I got out training, they sent me to San Francisco. I was at Presidio. That's a base, It's mostly working for generals, colonels, and stuff like that. And you was act like you had MOS. I had MOS 03C20. That's running service clubs and stuff like that.
Okay.
And then from there, I was there for about 3 months. Then they shipped me to Korea. I didn't come home. They shipped me direct to Korea.
And didn't you indicate at some point you were very close to the DMZ there?
Oh yeah, we were right on the DMZ. We were considered up in the DMZ area,
Oh.
combat area. People don't realize we was having to fight. Even though people in the United States didn't know we was over fighting. They'd call it a Cold War. But it wasn't a Cold War. We was actually losing soldiers.
It wasn't a Cold War when the bullets came across
right.
the zone.
Then you go on GP duty. That's about 200 yards from the enemy, like 2 football fields. You're watching, and there ain't but 8 of us, watching and calling in if we see them come across the line, coming into to the section that we're supposed to be guarding and protecting on our side where the soldiers are, and let them know we got about 200 to 300 1,000. We let them know what's coming.
Wow.
And they mess with the GP constantly. They turn the mines around to face us. If we activate it, it will blow us up, you know. So we kind of learn on trial and tribulation, you know. We did a lot of things, you know.
Were you relieved when it was time to move on to another form of duty?
Oh, see, you there for about, you do at least about 2 days up on the GP, you know. Then you come in, and then you on patrol. You go on patrols, you know, like you're going out there to seek and find.
I don't think most Americans realize our troops are that close to the enemy over there. We tend to think of the DMZ being several miles, not within 200 yards.
You know, like I said, people don't realize until what's really going on. You know, only a soldier knows what's going on. And like I said, we don't talk about a lot of things because people don't understand us. Only another military personnel really understand a soldier.
Well, maybe after a few minutes of discussion, we can get a little better idea of what's going on. After your duty at Korea, how long about were you in Korea?
I was in Korea for 13 months.
Okay, and after that duty, I think it was on to Germany?
But when I went to Korea, my MOS changed to 11B Bravo, infantry.
All right.
See, they took my little small, nice MOS and changed it to infantry.
And what does that mean? What effectively does that mean?
I mean, you're no longer on the easy side. You're strictly a ground pounder. That's what they call us. You know, Marines and the Army infantry people are considered ground pounders. I mean, we do a lot of
ground pounders.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, we do a lot of truck. Our stuff is strictly on the ground. We seek and destroy. We go on patrols. We're looking for enemies and trying to protect our base and our compound.
Okay.
You know, because we don't know where they at and how many there are. We might run into. I say we get so on the patrol. You might have at least 10 people at the most.
Wow.
And then you go out there and you might run into the soldier, our enemy. Well, it's our enemy. You might run into about 200. We have to be quiet because we're not prepared to fight that many. We have to be quiet. You couldn't light cigarettes or nothing. You just have to be in the dark until the next morning. Then when you coming back in. Sometimes you're out there for about 2 or 3 days, and then you eat rations.
Heaven only knows what could happen.
Thank you. You know, that's where it was. You know, you didn't know what you're going to run into. And you definitely didn't want to be in combat, I mean, in a contact with 10 people, you know. You needed more. Sometimes we do have contact, and we have to fight, you know. So then we call back for help, for artillery to get us out of there, helicopter, you know, so we can get away from there.
Well, it sounds like you need quite a bit of training to be able to coordinate all of this.
Oh, you get trained. That's what I'm saying. When Fort Gordon, you learn in the Basin and AIT, you learn all of this. You learn how to.
And I would imagine this is eye-awakening for a guy from Covington who really probably didn't expect to have this kind of lifestyle. And now you spent 13 months in Korea.
Right, but like I said, when I grew up, you know, in Covington, you didn't know too much about drugs or none of this other activities, you know, because you was raised different, you know. You was a homeboy, you know. They call us farm boys, you know. Small town youth, they call us, say, okay, you dummy, you ain't nobody country boy, you know. But country boys learn quick. We learn to adapt, you know, from our upbringing, you know. So it was a good experience. I learned a lot, you know. I had to go out there, and especially in Korea. That's when I first learned about drugs. I didn't even know. And what they talk about drugs over there, we're smoking weed. I'm not ashamed to say it because, hey, it didn't affect me, you know. And we go out, you had to be in a different mindset, you know, because
when you had somebody threatening you with automatic weapons, I guess I can kind of understand that that would be unnerving.
Oh yes, and when you got people coming at you shooting at, sometimes they shoot us all night long. Just to keep us from sleeping or resting, to keep us alert. And we know if they come, we got to be prepared to fight. Hand to hand or with our weapons. We was taught this. In the military. Now, basic training in AIT, we was taught to survive. And today's day, don't mean no harm. Today's day, I don't think our DI, drill instructors, they was hard on us. If you couldn't make it without them. I appreciate what I learned in the military. They gave me a different outlook on being a man. Discipline. You were strict discipline.
I don't think I've ever heard anybody said they were appreciative of their DI.
Oh yes, without the training that they taught us, we wouldn't be here today.
So after this period of time, you spent 13 months, various North Korean patrols shooting at you and worrying you.
They shoot the compound too. The compound, we get incoming.
Well,
they shoot them little rockets and stuff. We get compound incoming and all that. We had to run to the foxhole, out buck and jump in the foxhole, leave the barracks and go outside in the foxhole and lock and load, put your steel pot and flight jacket and stuff on. Be prepared to fight.
After that period of about 13 months, what happened? Where did you go next?
Then I came, they sent me home. Came home, I was in Fort Belvoir. Then from Fort Belvoir, I was only in Fort Belvoir for a short period of time.
Was that additional training at Fort Belvoir?
Fort Belvoir was like you come home, it's like, it's a time for rest in a way, but then you're still learning and training. You work on, you went to different companies, and in Fort Belvoir I was in, working in the motor pool. And then next thing I know, I was shipped to Germany. And then I was at this maintenance unit.
And this is particularly interesting because not that many people learn. You said maintenance unit, but I think in the pre-interview session we had, you said you became an expert at fixing certain parts of the rotors of helicopters.
I learned that. When they send you away to school, okay, their school is training, education, and hands-on. Like working on a helicopter, it's, when you get through working, whatever you had to fix on that helicopter, mainly me and the guys in mine that do what we do for us working on the tail rotors and the main rotor, we have to go up with them.
Yeah, I thought that was particularly interesting.
Because we go up with it, that means you're going to go up and fly with this plane and you're going to mess it up. If you mess it up and the plane comes down, everybody's going to get killed. I worked on the Hueys, the Sixes, and the Scouts. I worked on all these because we had to learn this, And we had some helicopters nobody knows about, but that's still secret. I don't want to talk about that. But
I don't know if you worked on any of the stealth versions, but I'm very happy that stealth helicopter that flew into was it Islamabad or?
We had the Sixes, the Sixes. They got about. That's the gunner. They strictly coming for fighting. They ain't picking up nobody. You Hueys pick up the people. The other people, they there to protect.
The Apaches and that kind of thing?
They there to protect so the Huey can go down and pick up the soldiers.
Did you work on Apaches?
Oh, well, some of it.
Well, maybe they were just coming into service at that point.
Well, they were just, every time they had something new, you had to learn, and you had people training us, coming and training us how to do this and that. But like I said, I was mainly tail rotor and main rotor mechanic,
And was this, did you?
They called it the power train.
Okay. And was this in the United States, or did you later perform maintenance on helicopters?
Not in combat, because I whole MOS changed, you know, because once like they say, once you get that infantry, 11B, 11 Bravo, you strictly ground pounder. You strictly going out there to fight. You're not like the cooks and all that. You're strictly to fight.
That takes a
Your
amazing
whole life
amount of
changed.
personal control.
Oh yes, your whole life is different. You know, because now you are not the same as you was. You know, you're different. You know, and, you know, your attitude changed, your life changed, your lifestyle changed. You know, if someone come up to you, you know how to defend yourself, and 50 to 1, you get angry quick because you was taught to be alert at all times. You know, you go somewhere, somebody, it's different. You just like the guys today who come from Iraq. I feel for them guys in Iraq, Gulf War and all of them. I feel for them guys. You know, they touch my heart because they don't have the training that we have. Because our training taught us, because when we came back from Vietnam and all these places, from our basic training and our AIT training, we had to deal with a lot without the people looking at us. Because we was treated different. We was like unknown soldiers.